Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cheese Fest and Ferment. My name is Kate Gibbs, and I'm so delighted to be here. We have Ragini Day, who is going to cook something magnificent. Now, you've been doing this all day down at your stall?
Sort of, and a little bit more as well.
What is this? Because I've had this before, but I've never seen it sort of being made. Or can you tell us a little bit about what you're cooking?
Yeah, sure, because this is a very popular dish in every Indian restaurant. I mean, really, no Indian restaurant worth its name wouldn't have palak paneer. But what, a lot of people, most people, as you said, don't really know how to make it and how easy it is. But we're also going to make the cheese itself as well, the paneer cheese.
So paneer, it's called. And where can you get paneer from?
Well, these days you can really get that at all, even proper supermarkets, I mean like normal supermarkets, but also, of course, Indian and Asian grocery shops. But really, I mean, you get sort of an imported Indian variety. And I think, we are blessed with such wonderful dairy milk over here, so why not make your own?
Make your own, wow.
Yeah,
do you make your own?
Of course, always. For the restaurant, and we are one of these from scratch places, so we make everything that we can.
Oh my goodness. So are you going what are you going to do today? Are you going to make the palak paneer?
Yes. So
Okay.
I'm sort of going to go backwards because I don't want to make the paneer first, otherwise I won't have time to do the other stuff.
Okay.
So I don't really like saying this is what I made earlier, but
Everyone's
I may have
been
to
doing
use
that
that line today.
It's such a fun thing to be able to say.
But I will promise you that I will make the real stuff in front of you as well. But we're just going to start off first with the palak paneer, the palak, and I do have the paneer that I made earlier, as we said, and I've just cut it into little cubes or sort of irregular cubes because sort of kind of rustic kind of dish. It's not, beautiful, fine dining exact 2 centimeter pieces or whatever.
Right.
And always when you make your fresh paneer, keep it soaked in water. So that's just soaking in water. And when you make your paneer, the byproduct of that is, of course, the cheese and the whey. So I'm also thought that because most people don't know what to do with the whey, so I'm going to do a dish with that as well.
Beautiful.
So let's start, I think, put this on with the spinach, starts there, put the rice on, and I don't know how we do questions at the end or together or...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
if anyone has a question, just...
So I'm just putting, this is just, I think, olive oil I sneaked off from inside there. But, of course, we have the best olive oil as well. I mean, sort of parochial South Australian kid.
Yeah,
But, this dish is very nice with ghee. So I don't know if any of you cook with ghee, clarified butter.
That's hot now.
Yeah, we are at Cheese Fest, so it's probably good to talk about, using ghee. It's quite
Yeah.
nice.
Ghee
yeah.
instead.
Okay, so...
Do you make your own ghee?
Yeah, we make our own ghee as well.
It's actually surprisingly easy to make. I mean, if you've got the time.
Yes.
Has anyone made ghee before? So can you run through how you would make ghee? Because
Okay,
it's actually a
so-
really lovely thing to
Yeah,
make.
so a couple of ways, you can do it with cream or you can do it with unsalted butter. And both ways are quite easy. The ghee is a little bit harder than the unsalted butter. But in India, they actually even smoke it. And we can do that these days with all our smoke guns and things like that. But the first step is just to put your unsalted butter or ghee in a nice heavy bottom pan, slow fire, and forget about it. So go do all your, chores, or maybe not watch television or whatever you like
On
to
a
do.
very low heat.
Very low heat. And what's going to happen is that the water is going to evaporate. So you're going to be left with all the fat. And ultimately, when it's done, you'll have this clear golden liquid. And you'll also have at the bottom little sticky bits, like sort of crumble, kind of, I don't know what you can compare it to, like breadcrumbs, crisp breadcrumbs. And that actually is a delicacy. We like to even punch on that after the ghee is decanted off and put it into jars, put it in the fridge, or if it's nice
Yum.
cool days,
Butter
leave it
bread,
out.
butter crumbs. Sounds pretty amazing.
So what I've done
So it's
here-
basically clarified
Yeah,
butter.
sorry. Clarified butter, yeah. But as I said, in India, then they do the smoking, so that gives it a really nice flavor. So if you want, if you have one of the smoke guns, or if you don't have and you want to be like the Indian smoking technique, then what we do is put a little piece of charcoal or maybe even a piece of wood that we, heat up on stove top, like a gas stove top, until it's really, really, the charcoal really red and hot, and the wood sort of come to that charcoaly bit almost. And then you put it in a little bowl, and you pour some ghee on top of, like a teaspoon of ghee on top of this one little piece of charcoal we're talking. And then we stick that in the middle. So if you have the ghee, with the ghee sort of after you put it in the fridge solidifies, so it's not a liquid. So once it's solid, then you can pop it in the charcoal, smoking charcoal inside the ghee, cover it tightly and let it all smoke. Leave it for about 30 minutes, and when you remove the cover,
Wow.
beautiful smoked flavor.
And that's way of smoking your ghee.
Yes, that's for smoking
Wow.
the ghee. So what I've done here is just put in some chopped onions, some bits of ginger, green chili. It doesn't matter how rough you chop it because it's all going to be pureed afterwards. Sometimes people don't really like, especially Australians, I think of anything pureed as baby food. Do you find that? Like, I don't know.
If the whole thing's kind of pureed. I'm in baby mode at the moment. My little baby's here, so but she's starting on bigger food, so I think she'd probably like the chunkier paneer.
Okay, let's go. Hi there.
But it's not because you've got the paneer in there as well, so it doesn't have that.
No, the paneer has a different texture and, it's a contrast. So it's not, I don't mind anything pureed. I love mashed potato, that's a puree.
Yes.
So, it's definitely not vitamized, sort of old
Yeah.
people's food. Okay, so we're going to just leave that to wilt down a little bit.
This is spinach.
That's spinach, and really you can use English spinach is really better because the Indian spinach is like English spinach, so it's really very, I don't know what is the word, not so rough and tough, but
The Indian is more rough.
yeah, no, Indian is like the English spinach, so
Ah.
very gentle in a way. Like it's not coarse,
Right.
but so yeah, you wouldn't really be using silver beet or anything
Chard
like
or-
that. You want
yeah.
the softer spinach. But on the other hand, even baby spinach just goes down to nothing, so you wouldn't really use that
No,
either.
it really
Yeah.
does. I was going to ask. So these are with the larger leaves. You want those really dense,
That's
kind of
right.
sturdy
Yeah.
spinach leaves.
And you could put a lid to make it go faster, steam it, but what the lid also does is to sort of not let the chlorophyll escape, so the green color is lost a little bit. So you want a really nice green color, then it's probably better to leave it without lid.
With no lid,
With no
makes
lid.
it greener.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just
You also
stir
probably
this a little
reduce it a bit quicker.
Yeah. And we'll put a little bit of salt, which will make our, the water from the leaves come out a little bit. So we have beautiful Murray River salt. So just sprinkle a little bit down there. To salt or not to salt, that's up to you. I'm a salter, so
Yeah.
put it on there.
All chef's salt, right? Salt and butter makes everything taste
Salt
good.
and butter, give it to us. All right, so I'm just going to let that happen, and I'm going to do the rice, which is a special fried rice called, it's called a pulao with whey, the cheese water that we make the cheese with. And it's got a lovely sweet and very nutritious, actually. So I believe, I didn't know, but some Italian friend told me that they like to drink it.
whey.
Yeah, the whey for their
Yeah.
digestion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good. I do that. that's one of my things.
Well,
Drinking the whey.
But you can put it, you can make pastry with it, you can make bread with it.
It's great in pancakes, actually, if you're making pancake batter.
Yeah.
Lightens the whole thing, makes it really light and fluffy.
Oh.
And it's also a great way to start a fermented sauerkraut do you do any ferments like that?
Yeah.
Like a kimchi or sauerkraut? Add a little bit of whey to start the fermentation process.
So I've just got that oil in there. It's going to heat up in a minute because we have this fabulous induction. And we are going to pop in some fennel seeds. So everyone knows fennel seeds, nice licoricey, sweety sort of
It's
flavors.
got that aniseed.
Yeah, and seed taste.
It smells beautiful.
Some green cardamoms. That's one there.
And you haven't crushed those, you just put them in
No,
whole?
this is all whole because with crushing you get a much stronger flavor. We just want a very subtle sort of enhancing the whey taste. The mace, which is the outer covering of the nutmeg. Does anybody use this? So, you know, that's a nice...
So can you
Christmas-
buy it like this?
Yes, you
Ragini?
can. So,
Beautiful.
talking of babies, sometimes people call that the placenta of the nutmeg.
Really? So, well, good for you. Is that the idea?
No, I
Why?
didn't call it that. I mean, like I heard that they call it that.
I haven't got. I didn't do eat my own placenta. I think I'd
Oh, no.
rather have a bit of this.
Okay, basmati
I
rice.
have to
long
try
grain.
You can buy it like this. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And just stir the
Wow.
rice with the oil and the spices.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
going to
little
say it'd be
sweeter,
lovely
no?
if people could taste this. Would you mind? Do you need this? If anyone would like to try some, I'll put some here, and you can. If you fancy having a try afterwards or now, just pop up. It's actually really, really nice. Quite a palate cleanser. Don't all come up at once though, okay? So just. It's beautiful. What? So that's the outside of the nutmeg. They obviously peel it.
Okay, so
Fortifying.
just going to put a little bit of salt in wave water. If you have a sweet tooth, you could put a tiny bit maybe of any kind of sort of like molasses or golden syrup or something like that, not just sugar, but it doesn't need it because that's got its own sweetness, I
Sweetness.
think.
The
Yeah,
lactic sort
lactic.
of.
And with any good rice, 1.5 times the liquid as the rice. So a cup of rice, 1.5 cups of water. Let it come to a nice boil, and then you can. Ooh, too much.
That's fine. That's
That's
power.
fine?
That means like
okay.
you're really going for it now.
All right. So we let it come to a boil, and then we will reduce it to almost nothing because it almost cooks in its own steam and its own heat, and the rice elongates to beautiful long grains, which is what we want.
Gorgeous.
So, yeah. So while that's all happening now, we will start on the cheese, the paneer. I just keep an eye on my spinach because I don't want that to.
Would you like me
stick at
to
the
give it a
bottom.
stir?
Thank you.
I'll be your sous chef.
Thanks. While you're doing that, I forgot to add one major ingredient, which I'm going to add now in the spinach, which is not the Indian marijuana, but it is actually it's beautiful dried fenugreek leaves. So fenugreek seeds, I'm sure many people are familiar with fenugreek seeds, little brown seeds. If you grow them, you get a watercress kind of plant, and then if you dry it, because this recipe you actually won't dry, you don't want the fresh stuff, and it's very beautiful. You have a little taste. I pass this around as well. Oh, I got too excited.
That's
Maybe we'll
very
go there.
effective
Yeah,
power,
yeah.
isn't it?
Go down a little bit. We'll steal my chucks and then I can get another one. Ah, there's one here. Yeah. Yes, I'm a messy chef, sorry.
No, that wasn't you. That was your tools. Don't worry.
Okay, so did I put some in here or not? I don't think so with all that excitement.
Yes, this pinch you did.
I did? Okay,
Didn't
good.
she? I think she did.
No? Okay, put some more, doesn't matter. Oh, okay, well, it's going to be nice and
I think it was,
fenugreeky.
you were probably about to, and then you realised.
So, do you want to pass this around as well so people can have a look? Thank you. So, normally the spinach will have a little bit of water there, so it sort of cooks in there. But because that's sort of drying out pretty good, we'll just put a little whey in that as well, so it doesn't make poor Kate work too hard. There we go. Oh, I'm ready with this. Right, so back to our cheese making. Now, before you put your milk, and always full cream milk, I mean, you could make it with skim milk, but well, no fun. And so before you put it, just put a few drops of water or smear it with some oil, the base, because sometimes the milk is sort of I don't know, reconstituted stuff or whatever, so that just tends to stick a little bit, so that's not so nice. So we are going to put in maybe just a few drops of the whey at the bottom, just a little, because too much will make it curdle before we want it to. That's okay? So,
Yep.
yeah.
That's just, I think.
All right, we better watch this milk like a hawk, otherwise it will make more of a mess. So just going to do a little bit now, just so that you see what's happening. Maybe you should go a little bit higher. See that it
him.
doesn't. Yeah.
And then I'm going to move him over here, just because I think
Okay.
that's got a timer on it.
Okay.
So, okay.
And maybe
Cooking.
let's go down again now. All right, that's good. Thank you. Okay, so the milk is on very high fire and it's going to come to a boil. And when it does, then we have to, the Indian gods and goddesses, they normally have about 5 different arms. And you know why they have that? So they can make perfect cheese, because, well, you need to do so many things with this. So basically,
I think that's that one, yeah?
yeah, so I'm just
Okay.
making it really slow now.
Great.
Because it's tending to
Yeah.
forward. So when the milk comes to a boil, you need to do a few things altogether. So one, we're going to take it off the heat. Second, we're going to add an acid. And third, we're going to stir it. So that's why I have 3 arms. But I'm using vinegar, which is the easiest. If you've never made paneer cheese before, vinegar is probably the easiest. But you can also use lemon juice or lime juice. You can use the whey. You can use yogurt. And whatever you use, the less acidic it is, the softer will be the cheese. Okay? So this cheese is going to be a little bit sort of more firm. But again, when you try it at home, you can try different acid ingredients. And we're only going to use, like we've put in about 1 liter now. Sorry.
So just so you know, this is the front.
That's the front. Okay, thank you. So shall we have that high or not really?
Yeah. We had them the wrong way around. I was like, this is very strange. Okay, we're cooking now.
Sorry, I have to learn these things, so I'm very, very ignorant.
No, you're
about-
doing well. Having that many pots on the pat is like, some people can handle lots and lots of pots, it gets, but you're in the kitchen, you know how to do it.
I can handle pots, but maybe not on an induction with how many people watching.
Exactly. Well, you're trying to explain to people. I always think that chefs who can talk and cook at the same time, that is a real challenge, because it's 2 different parts of your brain. I don't know, those TV chefs who can do both of them at once.
Very
Maybe
hard.
they're doing
very
neither
hard.
very well. I don't know. No, I've got Matt Preston on tomorrow. I shouldn't say that.
So,
He does it well.
Yeah, I think, it's just like you have to really sort of concentrate on so many things, and which camera is looking at you and stuff like that is even worse. So, yeah, it's not that easy. But when you watch it, sit down and watch, and you think, oh, I could have made that. Really not that easy to do, is it?
Yeah, that's right. I think those pastries that they do on MasterChef or those types of shows, that's the real challenge.
Okay, I'm just going to stir my rice, and it's not doing too bad. So is this one here maybe slightly? Oh, okay. So
You're doing well.
yeah, it's just that normally I'd have it really, really slow, but we don't have unlimited time. Kate wants to go home, so no, she never wants to go home, because such a lovely, beautiful vibe out here,
Stay
isn't
in
it? Everyone is
LA.
enjoying Cheese Fest. It's hardly any, I don't think, festivals that are as good as Cheese Fest, really. And
This
yeah.
is just such a gorgeous festival. I can't believe how beautiful it is. I go to a lot of festivals and get to stand up there on stage and talk to a lot of chefs, but I have to say, this is just such a gorgeous vibe here. It's so relaxing, especially if you're eating cheese and drinking wine and gin, and it doesn't get much better for a Saturday, frankly.
Okay, Kate, if I get you to watch this, I might put my spinach and puree it up.
Okay.
So, but I don't want to
Brilliant.
leave this milk because I know
How are
it's
you
going
going
to
to
go.
puree it?
Yeah, well, I have a stick mixer.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh,
Okay, do
yeah,
you want
no,
to do
I'm
that?
not going to mortar and pestle or.
No, it's like, have you got some sort of sieve? Okay, brilliant.
So, can I just leave you there for
Yes.
a second?
Do
Thank
you want me to watch your milk?
Yes, please.
You don't want it to boil? Is that
I
the
wanted
idea?
to come to a boil, but then you could just push it maybe. So, it, stops boiling. Right, so if you wanted really, really green your palak paneer, you could take all the stalks off. But, we have to think about health as well and fiber and all those things.
And waste, food waste.
And food waste. So we always leave, I leave. I don't mind leaving few stalks, but won't be as silky and smooth as it could be and not as green. But I think, that doesn't matter. So I'm going to put this off.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah.
Well done.
But you can see it's quite nice. It's not bad green.
Ragini, is this how you eat at home? Do you eat this sort of food?
Yeah,
Vegetarian,
very much
healthy?
so. Because, people think of Indian restaurant food, butter chickens and kormas. Nothing wrong with that, but that actually is sort of special occasion food. That's not the kind of food that we eat in India every day, but, the everyday local now, people eat that so often, and that's not really
Yeah.
the way that Indian food is meant to be eaten.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Well, this is such beautiful, healthy food. Being able to make your own cheese. So this is the dish you're making here. This is your book, in fact.
Yeah.
Spice Kitchen. Beautiful. And this is the dish. I don't know if you can see that. You can probably see it better this way. The palak paneer. It's actually my always order. If I go to an Indian restaurant, I always get the palak paneer. My husband's butter chicken.
Well, as I said, nothing wrong with butter chicken, but there is so much more because real Indian food is sort of regional. It's the north, south, east, west, the food that people eat at home. It's really healthy, unlike what people think. We eat a lot of salads, we eat a lot of fresh fruit, we eat lots and lots of veggies and vegetables. It's not like you put 20 spices into everything and make this thick, rich gravy. You can, look at that, you can, just have one or two spices. So you can have cumin with cauliflower, you can have mustard seeds with cabbage, you can have poppy seeds with potatoes. So that's
Beautiful.
enough. You don't need to have 50 million spices to make something delicious.
That's right. Yeah, beautiful. And is your rice okay? I'm not worried about
Rice smelling good, I think, yes, doing well. So, after a while you can sort of start smelling all these things that you cook so you know something's burning or the rice has got a really beautiful fragrance because this, of course, is basmati rice, correctly pronounced. And basmati means the queen of fragrance. So, you can smell that.
Yeah, it smells beautiful. It's also
Come on,
much
milk.
healthier for you. That it's a lower GI than.
Yeah, it's the lowest GI
White rice.
and it's really good for diabetics as well. So, yeah, always use. But, even with basmati rice, a lot of people don't realize that aged basmati or the older basmati is lesser starch. So, and it doesn't glug, it doesn't stick together, and it just has this really.
Where do you get aged basmati from?
Well, first of all, I'm going to put that off if I can. So that's this one, isn't it? Yeah. All right. So I don't want my rice to get gluggy after saying all these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, aged rice, when you go to a supermarket, you can't tell because they only have a best before. They don't tell you when the rice was harvested. So you can, if it's a see-through pack, you can see by the color. So aged rice is a little bit more ivory, beige, rather than white. And also you can tell by the price. So if it's really expensive, don't just think, oh, I'll avoid this same basmati, $2 cheaper per kilo. No, it's because it's usually older. But if you go to an Indian supermarket or grocery store, tell them, I want the aged stuff, no new crop, please go to the back and bring me the new one. Alternatively, you can also buy a cheaper one, leave it in your storeroom or your cellar if you have a wine cellar for 1 year, and then you use it.
And what's the benefit of the aged basmati as opposed
Well,
to the...
first of all, the flavor gets better, but also the starch gets less. And so it's not as starchy, and also it does not stick together or glug.
Right, okay. So it's slightly better for you, but also Easy to cook.
Yeah. So never ever, once your rice is cooked, don't open it because it's still cooking. It continues to cook for a long time with the steam in there. So, you can actually put it off even when it has just sort of come to the surface. Put it off and it will continue cooking and the rice will be perfect when it finishes. Now I'm living dangerously here because saying all these things and it's probably going to be the gluggiest thing ever.
But that's okay. You've
We'll
been
see.
doing a few other things if that does happen.
Okay, the milk is started to boil, so we just take it off.
So when it boils, take it off.
And we don't need all that much. I just brought a bit more in case I lost some. So I put in, this is about 1 liter of milk, and I popped in about 20 mils of white vinegar. So
Wow!
And this
Can you
curdles.
guys see what's happening here? It's all separated. It's now you've got the curds and whey. Very much. Feel free to come and have a look. There's not too many people here.
okay, remove that because it's still cooking. Shouldn't really cook more. Oh, did we put that on?
It's absolutely separated. So you've got really your curds and whey.
And when that's happened, once you get back to your seat so you can watch, I'm going to pop that through. You can have a cheesecloth, of course, but a piece of muslin. If you don't have any of that, a clean chucks is fine. Not one of them which have the chemicals in them, but just a normal chucks. Thanks, don't burn your finger, please. Okay, so just pour it through, just gently. And, a little bit left over, let's go. And then we are going to just tie that up into a knot. Anyone made paneer cheese at home before? Yeah. Do you do it the same way or something different? More or less same, yeah? Same? Okay.
So vinegar you've added to that?
Yeah, I added vinegar, but you could add, as I said,
Lemon juice.
lime juice, yogurt, depending on your consistency that you want. Now, I come from Bengal, which is East India. We call this chana, not paneer. We use it for sweets more than savory. And what we do is, this one, I'm going to tell you what I'll do with it, but the chana, or the Bengali paneer cheese, we actually hang this up and let it drip about 5-6 hours and then use it. So it's much softer paneer. Whereas this one, what we're going to do, and maybe I just use the this dish. So I don't know, you can all see that on your TV on the screen, yeah?
You just
So-
turned it upside down.
Yeah, turned upside down. And then I am going to put, I'm just thinking of what heavy thing I have here. So maybe the milk, I'm going to close that milk. And I'm going to pop, well, idea is to put a weight on top. Okay? So normally it wouldn't be a milk bottle. So you can use anything, any heavy thing that you have at home to just pop that like that. And then you leave that for about 1 hour and it's
the water will
compressed.
come out, the liquids come out.
Liquids come out and it's nice and compressed. I'm going to leave it only for a few minutes because I'd like you to see that, how it came out. So it's not really
You can see
something.
the liquids come out a
No,
little
don't
bit.
worry. Okay, stay there.
I can try and balance that
That's
for
okay,
you.
it's more or less. All right, so we're going to come back to our spinach and I'm just going to use a stick mixer. Now, I didn't really bring anything to present the food in. So do we
It's
have
okay.
to
We'll
leave?
get
Those
you a
are gone?
plate. We'll get you a plate. Yeah.
Do you have some plates or something?
Yeah, we're doing
that's it. Thank you. Now, if you don't like it really ultra smooth, you can leave it a little bit more rough and chunky. Thanks so much.
That just smells really gorgeous. I can smell the spices that you've added.
And how easy is it? you know, most people think that Indian food they don't want to try to do because they think it's really complicated. But, you know, that's the easiest thing ever, and it's just got a hint of spice. It's not overtaking, you know, I mean, the spices are not overtaking the spinach. And you could serve that not just as a vegetarian meal with our whey scented rice, you could serve it with anything. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
You could have it just by itself. It'd be a beautiful, clean meal.
Okay.
So you could obviously use a food processor and do this as
Oh,
well.
yeah, you can use this
Oh,
food processor.
wow.
But I mean,
Yum.
yeah, if you're doing a small quantity, really anything is easy to do. Blender, food processor.
Yum.
Okay.
This is my type of food.
Well, give it to your babies too.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, she'd love that.
So look at the lovely green. Now, lots of restaurants actually put soda bicarb in the spinach because, you know, that makes
Keep
it
the
even
green.
greener. But what happens in that case, you actually lose your vitamins and minerals and things like that. So, you know, I mean, come on, this is green enough.
Silly, yeah.
It's nice green. So we just pop it in a little bit more, and then we can put in some of our cheese we did earlier.
Gorgeous. Yum.
Okay, that should do it.
And so if you were doing this at home, would you serve the spinach warm and the cheese slightly
If you're
warm?
doing it at home, then you probably sort of give it a 1 minute stir.
Stir through.
Yeah, through it.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you
that
know,
just
I like
looks
that
so
Swiss cheese.
beautiful.
And then let's do the see what happened to the rice.
Oh, yeah.
How are we going for time, kid?
Well, you're fine. You're
I'm
fine.
okay? All right.
Oh, it's perfect. Look at that. I thought it was going to be too watery.
Well, you know, I have a reputation to uphold. I said all these things about cooking rice, and then if it turned out bad, oh my God.
Wow, well done.
See the lovely, you know, the grains of rice are really, really long and elongated. And, you know, that's what you want. You don't want everything stuck together or broken up. And breaking up happens when you don't have that sort of confidence and you keep stirring all the time. So really, rice is something that you should really forget about.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And-
Ragini, sorry, what were you
No,
going to
no,
say?
please-
No,
please
I
ask
was going to
question.
say thank you. So
Yeah, I just want to show them the cheese, so they know that that really works. So-
beautiful. How easy. You make cheese making look, you know, much
Well,
simpler.
This is the easiest cheese making. It's not like your beautiful, you know, a matured cheddar or a blue or anything, which I like as well. One day I'll learn to do that. But right now, paneer is enough. So it's sort of coming out like that. So already, this has been, what, 5 minutes? It's already sort of quite firm and nice. So it's sort of like a feta without the brine, so it's not salty. So, you know, it's soft cheese.
Yeah, it's a little like a halloumi, isn't it? It's got that sort of firm,
Yeah.
not too salty, gorgeous, a bit squeaky.
Yes, it is. And also, if you wanted to sort of graduate to your next stage, then you can, in the milk, put things like saffron or maybe fresh herbs, mint, coriander, even dry, you know, nuts and dry fruit like apricots, things like that. And then, you know, you can make various sort of flavored cheeses as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Ragini Day, thank you so much for joining us at Cheese Fest and Ferment. You've got a stall down here.
Yeah, we have a stall just down the hill, so you can roll down. There's a question or?
Question?
No. So we have a stall, yeah, just rolling down the thing called Ragini Spice. So yeah, come and see us. But also, I do have only a very few copies of the books left now. I think there are only 50 in all the world, which is so sad. Because, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, as Kate knows, it's how, well, Kate doesn't know, but for the normal person or like me, an average bloke, it's not easy to get a book published.
No, I do know that. Yeah.
I don't know if I can have the opportunity of doing another one, but so it's really sad for me to have 50. So the last 50, I want to go to really good homes. So
True lovers of cheese.
true
and
lovers
other
of
fun
cheese
things.
and other things. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Kate.
Ragini Day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us at Cheese Fest and Ferment. We want to thank the sponsors as well, Smeg and White Marquee, and have a fantastic night. Don't end up in one of those. Enjoy your drinks and your beautiful wine and cheese, and we'll see you again tomorrow if you pop back. Have a gorgeous evening. Bye.